So I'm just gonna... I've been running around leveling while doing a couple of other things, catching up in the forum and whatnot. Finally, it's like, you know what, whatever. Let's just keep playing the damn game, shall we? I am probably not going to finish this game tonight. I have somewhere to be this evening, so I'd like to get some more playtime in while I can. There we go. So screw it. Yes. I just realized I can't actually change out party members because I need a 5th party member to do that. Hey Greywolf. Well, I know where to get a 5th party member. Well, no, don't wanna. Screw it. Screw it. Screw it mode engaged. Sorry, Shiryu. I hear if Warcraft 3 is a terrible, terrible game. I mean, there's one guy did a whole lore run just to Warcraft 3, and it was terrible. Nobody liked it. Hey, J-Man. Yeah, let's make sure everyone's set up for this, which it looks like they are. Okay. Oh, right. Nah, Shadow takes too long to get. I actually saw that, Jovan. I literally just saw that right before I played. I need to actually think about what's going to happen as a result of that. It also... You're kidding me. They just now got home. I just gave up on them. I literally just gave up on you guys getting home. I just started streaming again. Thank you. Whatever. Hey, guys. Yeah, nobody likes that lore run, sure, I'm telling you. So anyways, Javan, yeah, I'm still thinking about what exactly. So I'm sorry, I really should be talking during this section because this is like super duper important. This is one of the better sections of the game, in my opinion. So we have gone through all this stuff, all this nightmare and horribleness and death and all that. But you know, one thing that has remained consistent is Narsh. We started the game here. It was the end of Act 1. It was debatably integral to the end of Act 2. You know, so much of the game has started here. And we come back here in the world of Ruin. No one's here. Well, I shouldn't say no one. That is actually inaccurate. There are 4. I had to think about that. 4 people here as of the world of Ruin. One of which literally just walks up and is like, hey! And then leaves. Immediately. I see her around a bit. I don't even know how to put into words how much of a gut punch this was. That the one town that was like the safe bastion and the home base, and you know this is where home is, feeling that Narsh has always had, is this abandoned, empty place filled with monsters and nightmares. Even the town, even the actual town itself, has enemy encounters all over the place. And again, there's no one left here. They're all gone. Now, there's actually quite a few things to do in Narsh, because of course there is, because it's Narsh, and that's how that should go. But this is probably one of the only places in the game, this and Doma, I think, are the only 2 places in the game, where you go to, you know, someplace that was significant in the world of balance, and it's just ruin. This is also, in my opinion, some good storytelling, so this is going to get another plus to the story, for the fact that, and they do it so perfectly. They have the World of Ruin theme playing throughout all of Narsh. You know, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, you hear this song that's playing right now throughout basically all of Narsh, not counting Umro's section. So, you know, you get reminded, even if you've gotten the hope, even if you've gotten the falcon, and you've fled out into the world, you are just reminded that, nope, all those people, you know, the mayor, Arvis, all those townsfolk who helped you out, the guy who let you loot his treasures, the gentleman who thought magic was ridiculous, the people who were thinking about neutrality, the soldiers who had lost so much, they're all gone and dead. The only actual Narsh resident who is left is the one who is in Kohlingen. When you actually enter here, there's a single beast guy left, and then everything else is just monsters and nightmare. But before we get to that and really talk about that some more, one more point here. That's Mog, right? Mog is staring at the ground, and admittedly, this is a subtle little thing. We're going to give the plus for the Narsh section here. This is a subtle little point. I've been accused of reading too much into this on this point, but I have since gone back and re-looked at some of the original translation stuff, and no, I'm pretty convinced I'm right on this one. Mog is the only Moogle left. We never see any other Moogles in the entire rest of the game. He is it. And he's just standing here, hopelessly and despairing, staring at the ground. Now notice the moment we get back, he perks up. Well, of course he does. I mean, really, he's probably just as depressed that Narsh is a ghost town as we are. But what is it he's staring at on the ground? The Moogle charm, which, again, in the original translation, is inferred to be a necklace or a charm or otherwise trinket that was given to Mog. Whether it was his sister, lover, mother, doesn't matter. The implication remains exactly the same. This is someone that was important to Mog, and I think that's really all I need to say about the matter, because Narsh is a ghost town. That's the last character moment we get from Mog. He actually doesn't have any other character moments in the rest of the game, which is a real shame, given the impact of that one. Now we're going to mix up our party a little bit here now that we can actually switch party members. Let me think about this a moment. We'll do this. Mog will be a very regular party member, basically from now on, because he has the Moogle charm. I've already talked about the Moogle charm, I've already talked about random encounters, I don't have anything to add to that. The fact that they give you the Moogle charm is debatably a positive. The fact that you can only equip it on Mog is debatably a negative. Bottom line, I don't think that really deserves a gameplay positive. Nevertheless, it is a nice thing that you have the option, under specific circumstances, of removing random encounters from the game. So, shrug. Where are the running shoes? There they are. You know, okay. You really failed that awareness check. I'm just saying. No, damn it, Bragwin. Button this back up. Let's see. We'll give you the sprint shoes. Oh no, that's stupid. We'll give you... And then you get the sprint shoes and the Moogle charm. And you get earrings or us. Whoops. Let's see. Where is he at? Actually, why don't we go ahead and put you on the HP thing? Sorry, one of the things I'm trying to do here is get some espers before I level too much further. Because my selection of espers is actually kinda crap. I mean, to be honest with you. In fact, he knows nothing. Why don't we... Oh, no, immunity. Really? Okay. I can make that work. Hey, Deacon. Okay, we are ready to go. We're ready to go fight a couple of bosses. Don't worry, we're sufficiently high level now at this point that we could basically beat the game, but like I said, I'm going to try and do all the lore stuff, because I'm trying to review the game, because that's what I do, because I'm a weirdo. But we now have the Moogle Charm, which is the best thing in the universe. No encounters. Which is awesome. So, I just want to mention that this whole area has encounters. I obviously have the Moogle Charm on, but yeah, no encounters. Now, I can't actually go into these buildings to get certain things yet, like the the Ragnarok or the Cursed Shield. Not that I'm going to get the Cursed Shield. Can't do all that stuff yet because I don't have lock. Getting Mog was too important. This whole section is monsters. I feel like I'm underselling the Narsh section. I'm trying to think of an equivalent in another FF or another game in general, and I'm kind of failing. Darkrai, after all the Tor stuff goes live, the 4-job Fiesta stuff is going to go live, and then after that goes live, this stuff will start going live. It was a DC 40, okay? 40 for the awareness, 14 for the wisdom, and everyone picked awareness. Yeah, I could probably take this guy right now. This is a tricky fight, but we can try this. And yeah, I agree, Javan. Ah, crud. We might have to cheat with this one. We might have to cheat with most of our bosses, to be honest with you, because we're just kind of blazing through it. To be perfectly honest, I've beaten this game without using these tricks many, many times. I don't really have anything to prove at this point. Basically, Brig, when they were looking for an airship that's small, that's under stealth mode, that's traveling right above the roofs of the houses at night, in an area they're not at. That's what they were trying to perceive with awareness. And I got the Force Shield, which is the second best one in the game. Which we will be putting on Setzer, because Setzer is my main guy. Now, okay, this is why the Force Shield is the best thing in the game. You see what it does to my magic defense and my magic block? Again, remember that evade doesn't matter. It's magic block that matters. So I now have a flat 50% chance just to not get hit by anything. Because, yeah. You know what? I think I agree. While it is a little limiting, and it does kind of make the fact that me and many, many other people ended up having Mog as a main character just because they wanted the Moogle Charm, the option to remove encounters is a plus to gameplay. So I think I will go ahead and put that as a plus, as I indeed just did. But whatever. Oh yeah, also if the Force Shield auto casts Shell, I forgot about that. There we go. It's okay with us killing Tritok, right? So this is another one of those callback things. We get here, and Tritok is sufficiently active to finally have woken up, basically. Personally, the way I've always pictured this is Tritok is no longer completely stuck in the ice. I know we see him there, but like picture about half of Tritok freed from the ice and the rest of the ice is cracking open. And Tritok is active, you know, he's running around, moving, flailing about, that kind of a thing. Until we come along and break out the rest of the ice, and he's like, "What? You? How dare you?" You know, blah, 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 blah. And he senses, you know, the horribleness of the world, thinking that maybe the War of the Magi is still going on, and so willingly turns himself into Magicite in order to help us because he senses we're trying to stop the war, right? Showing that Tritok was a pretty decent guy all along, which isn't really a surprise, really. Now, Tritok is also arguably one of the best Espers in the game. Two reasons why. First, magic power +2 at level up. Second of all, he teaches all the 3s, although he teaches them at rate 1, so it usually takes a while to learn all the 3s and all your characters. So let's go get Umaro, shall we? There's an optional boss here, which I will be skipping. I'm just mentioning it. It's actually the... Is this the Tonberry? The Tonberry is either here or in the underground castle, and I don't actually remember which. But it's one of them. Again, bunch of enemies here, kind of just pointing it out. I know it doesn't look like it because I have the Moogle charm on. This is Umaro's theme. I rather like this section. It's brief and basically a rather simple puzzle. I'm kind of skipping through it because I know all these puzzles here. I'll give you an example of what I mean. It's all these falling puzzles, and you need to figure out where to fall when. It's like 3 levels, basically. And you need to figure out where to fall in order to go where in order to actually get to your destination. There's actually a lot of treasure you can get here that's optional and requires you to approach from a specific angle or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Now, I like this idea. The idea here is that Umaro, who has been here for God knows how long, and you know, all the other Sasquatches, have had this one piece of magicite embedded in this skull, which has probably been passed down for ages and ages and ages, of Terato. Which is why Umaro gets so pissed off when you take his ancient shiny stone of familial importance, right? And then we fight Umaro because, you know, we fight him to get him to join us. I mean, duh, right? Now, the funny thing is, most people, when we first encountered Umaro here, thought he was just an optional boss to get a hold of Terato. And that makes sense. I freely admit the first time I did this... Oh, wow, that doesn't work. Okay. The first time I did this, I didn't actually know that you could recruit him, because I didn't have Mog with me. So, he's just sitting there in the corner, and it's like, okay, he didn't die, I guess. I don't know what to do about that. And I just kind of left him there. Hey, Brogue. Yeah, by the way, in case you haven't caught this, Setzer's magic power is through the roof now, as his level 2 spells are doing like 5k damage single target, and he's only level 40 something. It's because I've had him on magic power stuff this whole time. See, watch this. Funk. Okay, that didn't do much damage, but last time it did like 5,000. I haven't actually had it yet, Bregman. I may not have it ever. I'll probably have dinner at some point, though, so don't worry about it. So yeah. Hey, join us. You ready for Umaro's lore? This is great. Alright, that was it. Umaro is big and strong. Let's see. Oh, damn it, it doesn't fit! Oh, well. My friend Vincent always called him Umaro. I always called him Umaro. Neither of us ever got used to the others, really. We just kept calling it our own version. Me wait for you in pretty airship. So Umaro is actually pretty great. It's actually funny. I really wish there was more story to Umaro. If I sat down and just speculated, and God knows I have, I could come up with story for Umaro, but really we have very few hints to go off of. So let's talk about them really quick. First of all, he's a Sasquatch who obeys the Moogles. I don't think he actually obeys Mog in particular. I just think he obeys the Moogles. So we have an automatic implication of some kind of symbiotic relationship between the Moogles and the Sasquatches. Okay. Why would we do that, Cade? Or excuse me, Progue. That's ridiculous. Umaro is Daryl. Well, she crashed, and you know she kind of stopped taking care of her shaving regime, and there you go. So we know there's some kind of relationship between the two societies, the Moogles and the Sasquatches. Given that the Moogles obviously are intelligent, long-term thinkers, and have the ability to build and grow and all that kind of stuff, and the fact that the Sasquatches lack all of that but have a great deal more physical strength and etc., it's pretty easy to see how some kind of a societal trade could grow up as a result of that, right? That's all we've got. That's basically everything we have to determine what the heck is going on with Umaro. So sorry, I don't actually have that much to talk about there. I do have a few things to talk about here. This is the only time we see live on camera the Light of Judgment. I'll talk about the Light of Judgment in a second because it's kind of relevant. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Light of Judgment is this giant beam of magical death that Kefka likes to shoot down at the world every now and again. Hey, Sabin. Listen, you mind getting out of my way? Thank you. Yeah, it's me, Edgar. By the way, if you think Sabin suplexing a train is impressive, try to remember he's holding up a house here. He's basically being the support beam for a house right now. That's pretty damn impressive. So this section is really, really, really annoying, and I mean really annoying. If you're encountering all the enemies in here, they like to randomly cast Petrify and stuff like that. The weird thing is, one thing I've always wondered is, why are there enemies here? Why here? This is just a regular town, right? Well, I actually do have an answer to that question. Maybe, Walter. Maybe. It may be the only way to do that, though. My answer is pure theoretical, but here it goes. I think that the Light of Judgment doesn't just break stuff. Yeah, exactly, Pro. I think that the Light of Judgment also introduces magical creatures or magical elements or whatever into an area. Damn it, Bragwin. All this stuff's going to be lost when the house collapses anyways. It's not like I'm wasting it. So yeah, that's where I think all these creatures come from, because they're not exactly strong creatures, and they mostly just cast Petrify, which is the only real thing. Or is it Petrify or Stop? It's something like that, which is the main difficulty in them. Fun fact, the relic seller in town here sells a relic that prevents Petrify. So, you know, just in case the player doesn't know. And we're done. That was like 30 seconds on the clock. That is way easier to do when you have the Moogle Charm. And yeah, the whole house collapses when he stops carrying it. Hey, Zagoten. Now, Sabin is implied to have basically been wandering around, doing whatever, for lack of a better term. And yeah. So I don't really have much to say here. It just kind of makes sense that Sabin would have become effectively a roaming adventurer trying to help people out wherever he could. It's also very likely that Sabin was basically coincidentally here when this happened. I doubt he was planning for Kefka to Light of Judgment here. I have heard some people who have speculated that the reason the Light of Judgment hit here was because Sabin was here. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's something to worth think about. 10 gold for Strafim. That's going to help out in the future, but we don't need that. Actually, really quick. Strafim. That's what I thought. Yeah, I want you on Torado. There we go. And I don't know about Typo, although I am very, very excited to play it at some point in time. Well, of course, Baroness. It is Sabin. It's just kind of his mindset. I agree, Shiryu. I don't agree with the idea that Kefka was hitting this for Sabin. I think it's pure coincidence that Sabin happened to be there when the light hit. And he was like, oh, and just, you know, oh my god, seriously? Okay, so this is what I've been so afraid of this whole time. Oh, jeez. What are my levels? What are my levels? Oh, god. Okay. Okay. Hang on. I can actually still make this happen because I've got my 2 strongest party members still up and going. Okay, he absorbs ice. That doesn't help. Now, this guy's got a ton of HP, and a little trick to him we'll talk about in a second. Oh my god. This happens to me so often. I'm not even kidding. I'll just be oh god, it's Doomgaze! I think we might have this. I'm kind of in a hurry here, which is why I'm not bothering to res. By the way, if you vanish Doom or vanish X-Zone him, it won't trigger. Okay. It won't trigger the cutscene, and the cutscene is how you get the Bahamut materia, or excuse me, Magicite. So if you do that, you literally will not get Bahamut. So in case you're wondering why I'm not using the Vanish Doom trick here. Okay, So, Doomgaze is kind of a really awesome thing. In fact, I think Doomgaze by himself deserves a plus to gameplay, and I'm serious about this. Oops, that's the wrong one. You randomly encounter him on the world map. The way it actually works, the world map still has a grid feature to it, and I can explain that really quickly. This is a step, this is a step, this is a step. You see all that? Hey, Olivia. Yes, we need to go to Bahamut. So anytime you fly over one of those squares, well, basically every time you go to this, every time you go to this thing where you're in the overworld, Doomgaze moves. So if I like do this, and then go right back up to it, he moves again, and he can randomly be in literally any of the tile squares in the entire world. That's a lot, by the way. If you're actively looking for Doomgaze, the best way to do it is to get yourself on a northern course, turn yourself just a little bit to the left, and you'll do this kind of grid thing where you will literally hit every tile in the map. Eventually, it does take some time to go ahead and hit all of these. And like I said, every time you land or switch, he moves. Doomgaze is unique, though, and I believe this is the first time they did this mechanic. They would do this mechanic in future FFs as well, where he has a set HP, but each time he escapes from battle, his HP doesn't reset. It saves his HP value. So if you encounter him 5 times, and he has 50,000 health, and you do 10,000 damage each time, you will kill him the 5th time you encounter him, which is a really neat mechanic. It also, and the reason I feel this deserves an actual gameplay plus, gives you some kind of, it gives you that feeling of this monster that's just roaming the sky that you're not just supposed to defeat, but one that is harassing rather than tormenting, if that makes any sense. It's a different feel to it, and it gives you a reason to kind of roam around the overworld. Now, of course, if you're boring and stupid like I am, this is what you do. You just go up and down the whole grid of the entire world. However, what most people did back in the day is literally just flew around like a maniac, hoping to run into him. Indeed, I used to do that too, and partially because I really enjoy the flying around mechanic of the airship, because it's freaking awesome. So yeah, as you can see, we've covered about half of the map and still not encountered him. And you might be like, well, that's a lot. Well, again, that's only half of the map. He could literally have been 3 squares to my right and back, and so I would have to cover pretty much the entire map to reach him, right? And I think my angle's a little off, so I think I'm missing a few tiles as I go here. So this isn't even 100% coverage, what I'm doing right now. This is just like a 90% coverage, so I have a good likelihood of encountering Doomgaze, but not a 100% chance. Although we're going to go and get this over with while since I'm talking about him now anyways. The other thing I like about Doomgaze is kind of a story thing, but if I add a plus for this, it'll be for like all of the optionals. Doomgaze, Funbaba, the 8 dragons are all things that have been mentioned as directly being unleashed, basically, as a result of the world being ripped open. In other words, it's implied heavily, though never stated outright, that all of these creatures are not espers, but rather were magical weapons that were designed during the War of the Magi, that were sealed away when the Magi themselves went into the Esper Cave and locked themselves away. When the world got wrecked to crap and back, either deliberately or accidentally, Doomgaze, Funbaba, and all the dragons got unleashed and were released once again to the world. Now, of these, none of them display any real sense of sentience or sapience like that, and you notice we've kind of looped around now, so it's somewhere in one of the tiles I've missed. So we're going to go ahead and reset them. There we go. And now he's moved. There. No? Ah, shoot. Now I'm offset. Shoot. I lost it. It's really hard to get the perfect spread for actually going around the whole world. The good news is if you do this, you actually have a decent chance of encountering them, because I'm hitting like, God, I don't even know how, oh, there we go, hey, what do you know? Like 10 or so tiles every second, because of the speed and alacrity with which you're doing it. And by the way, he always opens the level 5 Doom, so generally, if I was fighting this, normally my strategy here is stupid, because I really shouldn't have 2 people with a level variable of 5 in my party, but whatever, I got this. So of them, none of them really have any sapience or sentience added to them that we can see. Funbaba seems to, in the fact that he keeps attacking the same town, but at the same time, a beast or an animal would have the same kind of mentality, and Doomgaze has no mentality or sapience to him at all. He's just roaming around attacking whatever wantonly, and the dragons don't talk or interact or otherwise try to do anything. They just find a spot and roost. So I don't think any of the ancient weapons had any kind of, sapience attached to them. And I think that was done deliberately on the behalf of the Magi or the Espers or the Magic Knights or whoever who made them. Which leads me to the last thing I want to talk about with regards to these guys. Oh, you jackass. Alright, hang on. It is my personal opinion that the Magi didn't create these guys. I know what you're going to say. What? You just said that. Well, no, let me explain. They were created during the War of the Magi, but I like the idea more that instead of the Magi themselves flying around, making these super weapons to use, the people made them. The various nations of the era that were experimenting in Esper and Magicite technology and magic were trying to fight back against the Esper forces that made up the Magi's armies. Even if those Magi armies were not attacking people, they were sure as hell killing people, because people were an incidental byproduct, or basically, bystander, excuse me is the word I'm really going for, of the actual war, which was the Magi fighting each other. So I like the idea that these things were created by people, and because they were created by people, they're not as sophisticated or advanced as the Espers, which have full sapience, sentience, and again, concepts of social, economic structure, all that kind of stuff. So they're people. But these things, Doomgaze, Funbaba, dragons, they're just monsters. Okay, I am having insanely good Doomgaze luck. I don't think I've ever had this good a Doomgaze luck in my life, and those two are dead. I have the best strategies for fighting Doomgaze, guys. Yep, there you go, see? And he's gone. Now, in the 3D Awesome, in the proper 3D Awesome, I've actually thought several times about how I would do Doomgaze. Personally, I think they could accomplish the same generals type of thing by having a distance-counted RNG counter. If you don't know what I mean by that, it's something they actually do to determine random encounters in later Final Fantasies. FF9 is the one I actually know best when it comes to that. Thanks, Bragwin. In other words, the reason Stutter Step works in FF9 is because it's tracking the distance you travel in order to determine an upstep on the table to determine whether or not you have a new encounter, right? Makes sense? So have something like that for the overworld as you're flying around. So, for example, every so many... Well, hang on, I'm getting there, Prog. Every so many, for lack of a better term, feet or meters or, distance you cover, a table hidden in the background increments by 1. Or 2 or 8 or whatever, some random amount. And if it hits a certain number, you get the first encounter with Doomgaze, right? The very first time you encounter him. Now from that point on, he's actually visible on the overworld map, kind of like Ultima Weapon is in FF7, except done, better because it's a modern game instead of a PS1 game. No offense to FF7, it's just, you know what I mean, right? So you can actually see him zooming around on the overworld map from that point on. So you have to actually find him if you're searching him out, avoid him if you're not ready to find him, or chase him down if he flees from you. And anytime he does that escape thing in the middle of battle, I would have him spawn basically like just a little bit away from you so you can actually see him, and he would immediately go flying off and try to get away from you as quickly as possible. And you'd have to I would make it actually pretty difficult to actually catch him. Because, I would keep the speed, so it's like, he's over there, oh, he went this way, no, okay, now he's, yeah, I lost him, where'd he go? And if you lose him for even a couple seconds, he's just gone. That's how I would do Doomgaze in the proper 3D Awesome remake, etc. And that would be really cool, I think. So, one other thing I want to talk about really quick here is, I mentioned that this is Season 4. The more I think about it, the more I think FF6 is basically just Season 4. World of Ruin. 4-season show, right? Depending on how long World of Ruin actually turned out to be in terms of showtime, it might actually be 2 seasons. But the difference is, Season 1, Arc 1, that's all one contiguous arc. Season 2, that's all one contiguous arc. Season 3, etc. The World of Ruin, pretty much from the moment you get off that island until you defeat Kefka, is all one arc. Everything involved in this can all be tied up into this one overarching style of World of Ruin. There's no pause point in it. There's no good chapter, end of chapter. There's no good end of arc or end of act or anything like that. So any divider, if we were to split up the world of Ruin into 2 seasons, would be arbitrary. It would just be, we have run out of room to do stories in Season 4, so we will end on a random point, basically, and then go into Season 5. Now, okay, granted, there's actually ways to do that a little bit better than that, but I think you guys get the general gist of that. Do I have that spell? No, I don't. So that's my thoughts on that. I was asked earlier, you know, how so it's funny you say that, Bragwin. I actually already have thought of a plan for that. For those of you who don't know, it's actually quite common for a show to be doing well and to reach its logical conclusion. Hello, Palador. There's Palador from earlier. Note the bird's gone, because, yeah, we already talked about this. For a show to reach its logical conclusion, and as a result of that, let's do it on you. As a result of that, to try to artificially extend the show. To say, you know, we'd really like it if you guys would do, you know, a 5th season, to use the example I was just doing. Well, the problem with that is usually when they do that, there is no plan for an extended season. And so such future seasons sometimes tend to suck. I think the DCAU is actually one of the only exceptions to that rule. Yeah, I think I will go ahead and do that before I do this. So if they were, you know, let's say I'm in charge of this thing, and the executives come down, and, you know, we're finishing up Season 4 of Final Fantasy VI, and it's going to the end thing, and they're like, "Oh, this is great and wonderful. We need to continue it. We need to do another season." I have the Moogle charm on. Hem. You know, I don't think I actually need to do this now I'm thinking about it. I have changed my mind. Anyways, and so they're like, yeah, you do need to do another season. Oh, it didn't work that way? Oh, shoot. Okay, fine. Sure. Let's do, there. So what I would say to them is, okay, you know what, you want a 5th season of FF6? Fine. But it won't continue from where this story is already going. And they'd be like, what do you mean? That's what we want. It's like, no, 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 no. The next season, you want this show to keep going? We're going to go back. We're going back in time. We're doing a prequel. I've said it before, I've said it again. Final Fantasy VI is, in my opinion, the best game, position-wise, to have a prequel. There is so much story to be told before the game begins. In the War of the Magi, and the foundation of the Gestalian Empire, in Kefka's origination story, all of that wonderful stuff. There's so much story to be told there that I would absolutely adore going back and continuing it that way. Actually, Kay, to be a little bit blunt, what I would do would be Metal Gear Solid 3. Little different. Slightly different. Slightly different. Oh god, Bregman, I'm sorry. I'll get working on that 3D spine soon, I swear. I don't know why I'm having him cast Stray Cat. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah, that spell kind of hurts. You notice how much less damage it does to Setzer, by the way? That's all because of his Force Shield. He is shielded by the Force. Meanwhile, everyone else is getting hit for quad digits. These things actually hurt quite a lot if you're not prepared for them. They're very weak to ice, though. Like, super weak to ice. They're quad super effective from ice. I'm not sure I would like those spikes under other circumstances, Bragwin, but if it makes you happy, that's the part that matters. Now let's do this. Okay, I think we're going to go and do the Cyan thing next, especially now that we have Gao in the party. We just need to do one more thing which will take hardly any time at all. No, no, sure, we're not going to try to make it extend past the limit again or anything like that. I should probably actually do this. There we go. Oh, that works. This will guarantee it. So for those of you who don't know, Cactrot's evasion is basically through the roof, as is his defense. He's basically the metal slime of this game. Certain attacks that completely bypass defenses, like the drill, can basically just crush him. So that's always nice. Cactrots are the method for raising spells. There really is nothing better. Did I call them Cactrots or Cactars? It doesn't matter. They're supposed to be Cactars. Fun fact, this is when Cactars/Cactrots were actually first introduced to the series, to the franchise. And you are still learning Doom. You're still learning threes, and will be for a while, and you're just getting level ups. Okay. You end up with some weird parties in FF6. Okay, we're going to get this really quick. So, unfortunately, there's no new opera. However, there is a problem. I could see something like that, Baronessa. Now, I like this a lot, because this is just so dragon-like. For those of you who don't know, one of the general implications of dragons across fiction is that they like to set up nest somewhere that's nice. Oh, by the way, he's still conducting. It's been a year. It's been a whole year, and this guy's just... You must keep conducting. Oh, so you mean Persona 4 is actually FF6 too? Okay. Or excuse me, Persona 3. I meant Persona 3. Anyways, so as we watch the conductor here, I like the idea that, each of the dragons finds a spot to settle in on. The snow dragon is amongst Narsh, the storm dragon is in the mountains, blah, blah, blah. Two of the dragons end up roosting in Kefka's Tower. This is the one I enjoy the most because for some reason, I don't really know how to explain it, the idea of a dragon wandering in the middle of a fancy, elaborate, expensive, well-designed, artistic, architecturally wonderful opera house and deciding, yeah, this looks like a good place to nest, just amuses me beyond words. And I love the idea of the impresario going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And the dragon's not hurting anybody because he's just up there on his nest. You're like, yep, whatever. Oh shoot, I meant to do something before this. Oh well, I'll figure it out in a minute. Hey, Brother Bonks. I might actually die to this. I will find out in a second. Ow! No, Brother Box. No new opera, I'm afraid. How many of you out there would like to see a second opera involving this dragon? Be honest. I'm kidding. I don't think that would actually work. But one thing I do absolutely think would work would be if they had a whole thing, like if they expanded on this and it's like, hey, look at the freak, look at the bizarre and weird dragon, and there's like a guy up there who's selling, tickets to come see the dragon and all that fun stuff. Exactly, Kay. Hey, this guy is a biological weapon, okay? He also has that ability, which I think he's one of 2 enemies in the entire game that has that ability. He literally has the ability to remove the status of float, which I just find absolutely hilarious. Because, I mean, they knew you were going to have float for this fight. Float removes his biggest and most powerful attack. Although, debatably, his melee attacks hurt too, so shrug, I suppose. You're right, Kay. We need to kill Celis, guys, but first, let's kill this dragon. I mean, he does kind of deserve it, if you think about it. I don't know if we can berserk him. That'd be funny. Nope. The conductor's like, there's a dragon up there! What do I do? What do I do? And he's dead. God, Edgar is OP. Even in the world of Rowan. I'm still using the drill, you notice that, guys? I'm still using the drill. And I just got my rod. I love if they ever did this in full proper 3D remake, I would love it if it was the same like background as the earlier opera fight against Ultros, and the audience is back there, and occasionally someone, and like it would be random, it wouldn't be a looped thing. Just every now and again, one of the audience members pulls up a thing of like popcorn and just, and they're still doing that while the dragon's up there. Let's see what we got here. Where's he? Okay, he's almost got cure. You don't matter for that. You don't. You do matter for that. I want you. What do I want you on? I'm sorry, Tarkin. Also, ha 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 ha. Oh, excuse me. Ha ha ha. Alright, there we go. God, I'm really tired for no reason. Okay, so, let's continue the Cyan thing. The Cyan thing is one of the longest sections of the World of Ruin. And I mean, it's long. We got this Miranda thing, then we're going to have the Mount Zozo, which is a whole dungeon devoted to him. Then we go ahead... Oh yeah, I need to put the X in the gameplay. Okay, so what do we add here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Oh, of course, Baronessa, and that would be really cool. So we have Miranda, then we go to Zozo, and then we do Doma Castle, which may not sound like a lot, but that's 2.5 dungeons, basically, and a lot of cutscenes devoted to a single character. Not that I'm complaining, quite the contrary, it's just that's a lot. Just for, No, don't do it, Bragwin. You need to save up for a Wii U. Brains. I'm trying to think. I don't think anyone else in the World of Ruin has that much development to them. Sabin has a little bit. Terra has a decent chunk. In fact, Terra is probably the other one with a nice big chunk. Strago, actually, of all people, has a pretty decent chunk over there in Thamasa. Celis, of course, has a huge chunk. We've already basically finished Celis' arc, though, at this point. Celis' arc was completed the moment she successfully convinced Setzer to get out of his funk. In other words, she has now officially paid it forward, and no longer needs to, has moved on for all intents and purposes. The last step of her arc is actually not her arc, it's Locke's arc. He gets a little bit of stuff too, just a little. I mean, Locke's scene isn't incredibly heartrending or anything like that. I like that idea, Joven, like a lot. It's starting, yeah, it's starting with the 8-bit, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, and then it goes into full orchestral. Yes, I'm doing this with Gao on purpose, by the way. So if you, one other thing, I'm not sure if this deserves a plus or not, but this is a definite plus for me, so I guess it does. Throughout all the towns, and I mean all of the towns that have NPCs in all of the World of Ruin, there are hints. In other words, if you go around to every town and talk to every NPC, you will learn about going to Doma, about the Zozo thing, about the Dragon Forest, about the about the Phoenix Cave, about the Fanatic's Tower, about the Underground Castle, and so forth and so on and so forth and so on. Every with like very few exceptions, two that I can think of off the top of my head, every side quote-unquote quest, every bit of content in the World of Ruin is hinted at by random NPCs all over the place, and a lot of the random treasures are hinted at as well. So here's these silk flowers. Cyan made these. This is really off topic, but I bet Cyan was a great husband. Anyone else out there agree? Ah, Bragon, I'm really sorry. If all this crap wasn't happening, I would totally pony up for that for you. But again, this is the kind of thing I figured he would have done for his wife. Cyan also strikes me as the kind of guy for whom straying or flat out cheating would literally never even occur to him. You know, in other words, someone who actually thinks of a marriage in the old-fashioned, quote-unquote, sense of the word, which is also better described as the romanticized version, because in the old days, people were a little more stray-y than they are nowadays. But anyways, moving on. Yes, Javan, it is. There's like no bad rumors in this entire game, unless you count Zozo, which is the only exception to that. Oh, good, Bregman. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go up to Zozo. We don't have to be afraid of Doomgaze anymore, so I don't even have to think about that now. Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't catch that, I have Mog there with Moogle Charm. I still encountered Doomgaze. I'm just pointing this out because there have been people who have argued that for years that if you have Moogle Charm on, you will not encounter Doomgaze. I just proved it definitively that is not true, so yeah. So Zozo's an interesting retread. And I need to put the Moogle Charm back on, apparently. Not sure why it's off. Two things that are very, very strange, and I mean very strange, about Zozo. None of the enemies are new here. It's all the same enemies that have always been here. Why do you not have... Why did I take that off? Oh, I know why I took that off. I was fighting Cactars. That's right. Anyways, I swear I had the Moogle Charm on when I encountered Doomgaze. So this is the only guy who tells the truth in Zozo. He's the guy who tells you a few things. You can go to him and be like, hey, here's 1,000 gold, and get rid of this rust, get this rust aid to get rid of this thing. But the enemies here are the same enemies. I actually think this is done deliberately to emphasize that Zozo, this town of poor, you know, dilapidated people, it just doesn't give a crap. Oh no, the world's been destroyed, and there's some new guy in charge instead of the old guy in charge, and the wealthy are still there, and we still don't have money. Who gives a damn? In other words, the, shall we say, stubborn, almost stagnant nature of the town just kind of endures as a consequence of the perspective of the people who live here. Which I rather like that idea. I like how you put that, Lesland. Zozo has always been in ruin. So here we have Mount Zozo. This is actually a pretty big dungeon. A lot of enemies here, a lot of good treasure here. Most of the World of Ruin has some good treasure. In fact, I think this deserves another plus for the gameplay. Don't look at me like that, I'm going to explain it. I always do. Whether it is rare or not, it is still good game design to have a large amount of good treasure when you get towards the end game. In other words, basically every dungeon in the World of Ruin has some good treasure in it. In some cases, you could make an argument that each dungeon in the World of Ruin has at least one item that you either can't get elsewhere or is sufficiently useful as to be worth going out of the way to get. So you are rewarded more or less continuously throughout the course of the World of Ruin with treasure and slowly increasing quality in treasure in order to help gear your party up for the final battle. I think that's good game design personally, and I've given my reasons why, especially since it really pushes that feeling of progression, especially at a point in time at which you're starting to really push your Magicite now that you have a ton of Espers to work with, and your levels are probably starting to actually skyrocket up since the experience gain has increased significantly in the World of Ruin. So yeah, I think that is a definite plus to game design. And I also think Setzer is going to finally get his golden hairpin and his earrings. It would match his hair, so, you know. And his zombie face. I also like the idea, this is pure speculative, that the reason this door has been shut off... Well, okay, I'm getting off topic a little bit. You see this place? It's all built in, right? And remember, Zozo was built by the poor people. And also remember several of the other things I talked about Zozo, right? So I always have enjoyed the idea that the people of Zozo wanted to find their own way. And well, I mean, there's that place up north called Narsh, and they're a coal mine. And we've got a whole mountain we can build into. So why don't we start digging into the mountain, and maybe we could make an honest living of it, lads, and we could find ore and gold, and we'll be rich. Yeah, we'll all be rich. Well, we all know how that ended up, right? Remember, the door here was not sealed. It had simply rusted from lack of use, right? So I like the idea that the people of Zozo had put all this work and effort into making this new life to make a legitimate living out of it, and it flopped either because they were insufficient, or they didn't have the work ethic, or the drive for it, or, and this is actually pretty common in real life, luck just wasn't with them. You know, it was just gone, and so they couldn't make anything happen. Hey, Yodripple, what's up? Yeah, Kay, were you here for me talking about the Narsh section earlier? Because that's just painful going through there. And we're going to give him the force armor. I want you to look at his stats. He now has an 80% chance to just not get hit. Yeah, Sitzer is officially a tank, in addition to having a huge series of defense. So yeah, that's always how I've always perceived Mount Zozo. For those of you not aware, there are actually enemies on Mount Zozo that will steal from you. Literally steal your gold. So it's interesting that we actually show up when Cyan was actually going to reveal the truth. Again, notice he's already penned this letter. I actually like the idea that he had finished this letter, and as he'd finished it, he'd gone out here to meditate, to contemplate. Also, one of my favorite quotes in the entire game is about to come up. I'm not kidding, this is one of my favorite quotes right here. Ready for this? The world before the fall. Delightful is the light of dawn, and noble is the heart of man. This is the final way the theme of the past being consumed by the new comes in. Well, I shouldn't say the final, but one of the most powerful ways, I think. You're alive, Gao? And that is the fact that Cyan himself comments on the fact that even as the new of technology and new paradigms and everything, all those wonderful things were overtaking the older ways, now the new is despair, hopelessness, ruin, and that has overtaken the old of what was before, and only now do people realize just how good they had it before. Cyan being the perfect person to perceive just how good the world of balance had been compared to the world of ruin. But that theme is going to crop up again throughout the course of Cyan's arc in a truly final time. Excuse me. So yeah, Cyan is a little overprotective of this. But then he starts talking. He has a good laugh. And he's like, you know, I learned of that poor girl when I passed through Miranda, and when I heard she sent a letter every day but never received any replies, something inside me just snapped. As I wrote to that girl, I realized I was very much like her. I was looking behind, full of despair. My eyes were closed, and then something changed. And then he also has a line that Gao is on the veldt, if Gao isn't already in the party. And then there's this tiny little tidbit. Again, showing how the new is overtaking the old. There's actually, this is a really bad translation, but basically what we find here is a series of books and manuals for machinery and technology and all that fun stuff that Cyan had been studying. And again, that will come up again during the ending. Did I ever... I didn't. Oh, shoot. Oh, crap. He hasn't learned it. Has anyone learned it? Nope. Okay. Whatever. We'll just walk out. I have the Moogle Charm. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and continue Cyan's arc in just a moment. I need to remember something when we get to Science Station. I don't remember what it is. I wrote it down for my speedrun, because it's basically critically important for the speedrun. And I've got save states now, which I can't use on a speedrun, so I'll just use that. So here's a question for you guys. If you ignore the big four, the quote-unquote A-list characters of FF6, and you have to pick a protagonist, one of the playable characters, whom is your favorite character in FF6 and why? Now, I'm not going to give my answer yet because I don't want to slant it. Hey, Silver Dragoon. We just killed your Storm buddy. He wasn't really good of a dragon, though. Alright, going straight to Doma from here. Yeah, exactly, Chavin. That's why the Moogle Charm gets some bonuses right there. Okay, so I'm going to need him in the 3rd slot, I think. I need my overpowered guy, and I need my mage. Locke, Celis, Terra, and Edgar are the quote-unquote big four. Setzer is awesome. His character arc's done too at this point, consequently. So I just realized I'm an idiot, so I gotta do things here. Yes, you do, Javin. I demand explanations. It is mandatory. Hey, Chalmarius. What's up? Wait a minute. Okay. Who got the... Oh, that's right. It never wants to equip the Force Shield because it thinks it's worse when it's actually the second best shield in the entire game. Let's get everyone set up again. It's really important after a point in time to basically have standard setups for people. Otherwise, it's like, okay, what do I want to put on this guy? What do I want to put on this guy? You know? I need to get some better weapons pretty soon, too. There it is. Yeah, by the way, personally, I'm gonna go with Cyan. Not just because he has so much character development across the game, not just because he is literally a poster child for so many of the different themes of the game, and I mean many of them are literally personified in Cyan, but he's just such a dependable, reliable sort of individual. I know he's not alone in that. Locke, Edgar, and Sabin all qualify into that kind of mentality as well, but there's just something likable about Cyan, and something rather human about him too. Cyan has flaws, and has his own little quirks, his fear of technology, and his inability to properly express himself emotionally, and the fact that he reads porn magazines, and the fact that he likes to teach his ton fishing, and he likes to speak in a slightly different manner as dictated by his elders, and all that fun stuff. He's just got little quirks to him that flesh him out and make him a little bit more human. And I like that a lot. Actually... And of course he's also one of the stronger characters in the game, in my opinion. I'd say arguably the 3rd or 4th strongest, probably 4th, if I had to put a number on it. So you're on Bregvin. I'd say hi for me, but that would be weird. Whoops, no, I want you on this. right? Yes. You get Tri-Talk. Now we're kind of weaker than I'd like to be. We're gonna hope this works out, but I need to go over here first. Yeah, come on, let me land. There we go. Now, if you're paying attention, this is actually the first time I've been here. So we're gonna have the whole, oh my god, this section. For those of you who've never, I want to ask honestly, how many of you have never thought about this before, what I'm about to say here? I agree, Big Shay. In terms of gameplay, Cyan is not exactly my favorite. I usually literally just dispatch on him. This is a ruined, wrecked town. There are chunks of building in the ocean. Half the city is literally gone. The rest of it is broken in ruins and dead. See you around, Dragoon. I mean, there's this ocean. This place is just a mess. It's a broken, shelled out husk of what used to be. Or if I could put it in other words, this is Terra. What is Mobliz here is literally Terra. It is no wonder to me that when she came here and found this place, she decided to stay. Even before, I literally picture Terra staying here and deciding to reside here before she encountered the children in the basement. And then, you know, after having stayed here for some time, the children who are cried and terrified, horrified, trying to function, trying to figure out some way to keep going on. They've probably been hiding from her this whole time, no idea what she is, until finally they're like, I think she's okay, you know, and they go out and try to encounter her. And this is when Terra finally interacts with them. And here's the weird one. Terra basically loses her ability to fight here. And if you think about it, why is it that now that she has a reason to care and a reason to take care of these people, that she has lost so much of her ability to fight? I think it's because she now has all these emotions she'd been looking for all this time and has no idea how to deal with them. No concept or control or strength or anything like that. She, in other words, literally cannot withstand what she's feeling, and it's not making her weaker in the literal sense of the word by making her spells work less. It's removing her ability to concentrate or function. It's removing her ability to be. Kay gives another thought on it there, which I actually like that too. Now here's the really messed up part. It's implied that this is not the first time Funbaba has attacked this place. So all the previous times Funbaba attacked, what exactly did they do to push him away? We see how bad of a time Terra has fighting Funbaba by herself. He crushes her. We have to rush in and save her. Yeah, by the way, sorry, I didn't actually talk about that flashback. It's poorly directed because it's the SNES. Yes, it is, Zigon, absolutely. It's the SNES. However, the implication when you really think about it is